Welcome back to My Dad Died, Now What? And I figured film this one in the laundry room because I have laundry to fold, and the added dopamine hit of doing two things at once is just for my ADHD brain. So come along this journey while I fold my work clothes and tell you about the different things I've been finding out about myself during this grief journey and this ADHD journey. So after my dad had passed, I didn't realize that what was actually happening alongside the grief journey was an identity transition. And it took me a while to land on that, but once I did, I think that's where a lot more of the processing of emotions and feeling and the actual processing of grief started happening. Because I realized that although not by my choosing, I had a new identity that I had to live with, that I had to adopt, that I had to become, that I have to have, because it's still in progress, I have to embrace. When I started looking at it through the guise of, okay, this is an identity shift. I've done identity work before. 5 years ago, I started working with a mindset coach. And I think I talk about that in one of the, little known secrets about me, is that I started working with Tracy Litt, the Lit Factor, Now the School of Becoming. I'm actually enrolled in one of her programs right now too, which is, again, helping me usher in this era of, dearly departed father, daughter now that I am. And years ago, I embarked on that journey willingly. I was transitioning from full-time teacher, full-time ESC coordinator to real estate agent, and becoming an entrepreneur had its own host of different things that I had to learn. I had to embody the person that I wanted to become and how my mindset needs to shift in order for me to make room for this person that I'm becoming. Well, I didn't have that luxury during this incident, right? I didn't have a father who was in hospice or who had some sort of terminal illness. I had a dad who, unfortunately, along with almost, 300 other people, were just celebrating life, and a building collapsed. And from one day to the next, I became now a fatherless daughter. But ultimately, and this only came to me recently, or maybe it came to me before, but I feel like I can articulate it a lot better, hence why I'm recording a lot more. It came to me that this is an identity transition, not one that I asked for, not one that I was prepared for, at least as quickly as it happened, right? Because I think every parent or every child understands that their parent is going to pass away. And as a parent, it becomes even more evident that you're leaving behind your legacy. So you're prepared to a certain extent to say goodbye to somebody that you love, or you have the understanding that at some point in your future, you will be the one saying goodbye to your child. I know, highly morbid, right? While I'm folding laundry, like, Jen, reel it back. But no, that's part of life. So in as much as we're prepared for the human experience to be finite, to have an end, you're not prepared when it happens suddenly, when it happens traumatically, when it happens unexpectedly, when it happens violently, right? To now have to become this person that you were hoping to become, 40 years from now. My dad was relatively young, living his best life. And that gives me solace too, knowing that he had accomplished almost everything, if not every single thing that he had set out to do, right? And it fills me with pride, and I get goosebumps just thinking about it, because it really is a testament of his hard work ethic, his passion for life, and the drive ultimately that led him to accomplish the things that he did. So in as much as when things happen to us, we don't always think of it as an identity shift, right? Like, you don't think, oh, who do I now need to become to accommodate for this? All this to say that while it seems, I think, on the outside that I've grown accustomed to in the 5 months that this has happened, to being a daughter without a dad, I'm not. And it's still an identity that I'm learning to try on, along with all the other identity shifts that I have going on in my life, right? I had a career shift last year. I had, a physical shift, becoming more healthy, working out more. I've had, again, an entrepreneurial shift because I'm shifting from real estate agent to event entertainment company, in the maximum capacity that I could become that person. And that's not without work, but those are easier because I'm choosing them. Becoming, fatherless at my age was not something that I chose. And it's an identity that doesn't quite feel right yet, but doesn't mean that I'm rejecting either, because I'm not going to reject reality. It is what it is. This is what I'm going through. This is life now. And the ones that I choose all have hard work. Look at me stopping to fold laundry. So imagine this one that I didn't choose, right? The work, the effort, the intentionality, the awareness that I'm cultivating within my own being, right? To the point that if I'm having either an off day or a day where I'm a lot more reactive than I would be, I now take pause and I ask myself, is this the grief? Is this the overwhelm? Is this the burnt out? What is it about this situation that's causing me to have maybe an emotion that is not corresponding to it, right? And then that's when I remind myself, okay, you are still learning how to be this new person. You are still learning how to be this daughter who lost their dad, right? Which is not uncommon. Anybody who has had a parent, right, whether they're in your life or not, the truth is you're going to lose them. So I'm not saying this to say that my experience is unique. In a way, in a morbid kind of yay way, I get to share this with my siblings, who I share with my dad. So there's a little consolation in that. We're not doing it alone, but I'm sure they're going through their, identity shifts as well. And some days might be easier, some days might be harder, but there's always that constant reminder of, this is life now. Who am I becoming because of this circumstance? Who am I allowing myself to be? Who am I deciding to wake up as and show up every day as I'm navigating things that I've chosen and willed into my reality and things that I didn't choose and didn't will? By me questioning these things, it just helps me improve for myself and for my family and for those around me and for the community that I serve and for all the people that I exchange energy with. The better I can come out of what I'm going through, I think will just be a cumulative good, or at least I tell myself that so that we can keep going, right? Who knows? But yes, do that. Ask yourself that. And I will continue to fold my laundry, which now I've started, and I don't want to leave incomplete. So I'm going to finish this up. Thanks for joining me. Catch the full episode on YouTube. If you're finding me here on YouTube, hello, nice to meet you. If you are interested in more, be sure to like, subscribe, follow. I will have another episode coming out next week. It'll be part 4 of a multiple part series. My dad died. Now what?